Hey everyone, what's up? This is Uri for Guerrilla Poker. In this video I'm gonna go with a heads-up hand history review between Limitless and Moonestar. Hope you guys enjoy it. Okay, so this is actually played at insanely high stakes. I forgot to mention 500, 1k, 2k, 200 ante, so really huge game. Looks like the 2k is a mandatory straddle when it's 3-handed or more, so just 100k buy-in with ante, casual, small stakes game. Limitless raises 2.5x, Moones calls, we get a 5-7 jack, two-tone board, Moones checks and Limitless overbets 1.5x times the pot. So crazy start to the hand. Definitely want to be thinking about what's going on here in terms of ranges. Now, I don't know if this is the correct bet size for this board. I would guess probably not, but maybe it's okay. The idea behind a bet size like this would be to leverage things for your top pairs and your over pairs. I think it's usually more appropriate for lower boards, like 10 high and lower. So it's a small nuance, but how many over pairs do you have changes. So the idea is, this is going to be a good jack or better plus bluffs and just starting to leverage getting stacks in as soon as possible. Limitless overbets, Moones calls. Turn 9 not changing very much because you overbet, right? So your opponent does hit 10-8. He's not supposed to continue every 10-8 even to begin with. And he hits like 7-9, Jack-9, 5-9 suited. But yeah, basically because you bet so big, stack to pot ratio is lower. If you have something good, you have license to just keep firing. But yeah, goes check. And now if you think about Limitless's range to check back the 9, he's going to have some give-ups. Maybe a random low pair he merge bet flop with, but then going to hit the 9 decent amount of the time. And that would be a hand that makes a ton of sense to check. So, river 9. And here Moones is in a spot where, now let's say he has a jack, because the 9 paired, how big can he actually bet? Or if he has a 7, how big can he actually bet? Because what's he getting called by when his opponent's range is so polarized starting on the flop? So this is in kind of a deceptive way not the best run out for Moones. Despite the situation, of course, he still gets the bet, just would have to go small. And maybe even give up some bluffs, though I don't think so, because the 9 did complete straight draws. But yeah, Moones checks, Limitless bets for pot, saying, I have a 9, probably. Or some turn slow play. Moones calls, and we see the hands. Moones show up with 10-9 with a 9 of spades. So, obviously calling flop, like I said, not necessarily with every gut shot, but the ones with a backdoor flush draw are the better ones, for sure. And then he's just checking this river for the reason I mentioned. He's going to need to check a lot. It's not a good river. It makes sense to trap this. And Limitless showing up with a queen 6, so showing he's got moves. Flop over bet, these kind of hands go in there sometimes. Overcard, backdoor straight, like 3 to a straight. Seems fine. Giving up turn with a gut shot, I think is reasonable. You could also reasonably keep firing with a hand like queen 6. And then deciding to rep the 9 on the river with an appropriate size. So I think overall nicely played hand by both. Nice casual 65k pot shipped Moones' way. And yeah, nothing more to it. This is going to be the same 2 guys, 3-bet pot. Moones raises 2.5x. Limitless 3 bets to 11.5x. Keep in mind there is an ante at the table, so everything's a bit bigger than you're used to. But yeah, size is definitely within reasonable range. Moones calls, and we get an ace-queen-9 two-tone board on which Limitless checks. Here you might be asking yourselves, why is Limitless checking? Shouldn't he bet his entire range small? But the way that this guy plays, as evidenced by the last hand we saw, is he likes his big bet sizes, so probably we're not going to see as many small bets from him as from other players. And that kind of forces him into playing a more polarized strategy, right? If you're not betting small, but you're betting big to gain more value for your ace, king, ace, jack, etc., you have to develop a checking range. You can't bet big with something like pocket tens. And that's basically what's going on. So kind of read on a player. So flop goes check check, turn 4 of clubs, and here limitless pot bets. Now, these kind of spots where you split your range on the flop, you will have some hands that want to still get in stacks, kind of the traps. So you might check aces, queens, nines, ace, queen, these types of hands some of the time. Mix check with some good aces. So it's fine to have this. And obviously some draws that you checked are going to go for this as a bluff. Muniz decides to call, very wide range can continue here. Any ace, any flush draw, any open ender, and probably at least some of his queens. I don't know if all of his queens or most of his queens. River king of clubs, so backdoor flush comes in, jack 10 comes in. Both players can have both hands, to be very clear. Like, these hands are not off the table because flop 1 check check. And Limitless here bets 10% pot. Very weird sizing considering he potted the turn. It feels like he's saying, trying to understand this. What hand would be worth only 10% pot? I think this is only true if you expect this king of clubs to really smash your opponent, and then you're like, even though I have ace 8 or ace 10 or ace jack, which I potted the turn with, I can only 10% pot the river. And it's true, king improves, king queen, it improves jack 10 and clubs. I still feel like you would be able to go bigger than 10% with hands that you bet. So this is me nitpicking technical stuff and not having checked this. I feel like if you have something that potted the turn, 10% is going to be too small on the river. You could go 25-30%. But what to make of that, I don't know. It's unusual. Like these sizes, by their nature, are very rarely bluffs, right? Because of the insane pot odds. So yeah, Limitless bets 10%. Muniz almost pot raises. So, saying whatever your 10% range, I definitely beat it, and I'm confident enough to raise. And here, what can you raise? So definitely a flush, definitely a straight. Say Muniz turned pocket 4s. Guessing he could raise that. So you can raise this very wide. Limitless calls, and we see a showdown. Muniz has ace of clubs, 3 of clubs for the absolute nuts. I think very, very naturally played every street. Check back flop with a weak ace, call turn with a nut flush draw, raise river with a flush. Nothing else to do other than, maybe go bigger on the river. Limitless shows up with jack 10 for the nut straight with a club blocker. So again, checking on the flop, something you're supposed to do sometimes when you take these big size lines. Potting the turn makes perfect sense with the open ender. And like I said, I don't get the 10% river, but I certainly wouldn't dream of folding. And you can see by the hand history, I don't know if you guys get to see this in the video, that Limitless didn't time bank before calling. It was probably just a snap call, as it should be. Jack 10 is beating some value hands from Muniz, so not really a foldable hand here. Okay guys, that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you guys next time.